What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video for PJS. I've been making a video every day that coincides with the same day of Holy Week, or some of you guys call it Passion Week, as Jesus headed toward the cross. So thank you for watching. Please like and follow the Facebook page or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Today we are on day 7 of Holy Week and Passion Week. And every video that I've been making, I've been reading a section or a portion of a passage that again coincides with the day of Jesus' journey toward the cross. Well, yesterday was Good Friday. It was the death of Christ. And today, Saturday, is kind of a weird one. No one really knows much about day 7. Day 7 is a little bit of an oddball. I remember one of my friends asking me, where was Jesus on the second day of his death? Where was Jesus on day 7 of Passion Week? He died yesterday, so on day 2. I don't really know how to answer that question. I'm going to leave that for scholars like D.A. Carson and those guys. But I could read a section of the passage here, portion of the passage, and tell you what happened on this day. So I'm going to read from Matthew chapter 27, verse 62 until verse 66. And I'm going to read from the NIV 1984 edition. The next day, the one after Preparation Day, the chief priests and the Pharisees went to Pilate. "Sir," they said, "remember that while he was still alive, that deceiver said, 'After 3 days I will rise again.' So give the order for the tomb to be made secure until the 3rd day. Otherwise his disciples may come and steal the body and tell the people that he has been raised from the dead. This last deception will be worse than the first." "Take a guard," Pilate answered. "Go make the tomb as secure as you know how." So they went and made the tomb secure by putting a seal on the stone and posting the guard. That's it. That's all that's happened today. Jesus, he's prepared for burial. He's inside the tomb already. And now the chief priests, kind of the government officials, these guys, they're now trying to make sure that Jesus stays dead. Now, this is really funny. This is really odd. Because you would think that these guys, they never believed him. They all thought that this was a hoax. They thought this was a hoax. They thought this was just a crazy, crazy, delusional man. Yet, they are still taking precautions on making sure that he doesn't rise from the dead. It's insane that even after he's dead, and he's truly dead, the heart of Jesus was pierced, water came out. That's a sign that when your heart is filled with water, that's a sign that you truly have died. I mean, they buried him. I mean, not buried him. They put him in the tomb, and they covered him with spices and all that stuff. Man, this guy, he is dead. Yet after his death, they still oppose him. They are still actively trying to be against him. Wild, right? Wild. And for those of you watching this and you don't know Christ, or you don't follow Christ, or you think Christianity is a huge lie, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Seriously, we can disagree, and I got love for you. It's all good. Don't believe in these bad examples that you often see on TV and the media. I'm a Christian pastor, and I got love for you. I would love to have coffee with you. I would love to hear your story. But thanks for watching. And again, if you think this is a hoax, this is what I wanted to share. On this day 7, here are these guys making sure that he stays dead. And you got to ask yourself, you know, it's hard to think about that Jesus rose again from the dead, right? It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around this because it sounds so ridiculous. But even in the chief priests, even in these government officials, there is a hint of curiosity and uncertainty. Really weird, right? I mean, they never believed him. They thought he was delusional. They thought that this guy was crazy. There's no way it's going to happen. They mocked him. They ridiculed him. They killed him. They murdered this guy. And yet, they still have a little bit of uncertainty. Isn't that kind of weird? You would think that if you rejected something, you rejected someone, that you would be positive that it's not true. Yet the actions prove here that there's a little bit of uncertainty. Why would they be uncertain? Why would they be scared of anything here? Now, there's a really good argument to say that it's not about uncertainty here. It's about making sure that the disciples don't come and continue the hoax, right? To continue to build a lie, to steal the body of Jesus and fool everyone that Jesus rose again from the dead. You know what? I agree with you. I agree that this makes sense. So I can't really use this as a point to prove that Jesus is alive, that the gospel is real. So I agree with you. That's a valid point. That's a valid argument. And, you know, it gets even deeper than that. You would say that it's so ridiculous that Jesus actually gathered a movement against the government. He gathered a movement of followers to go against kind of traditions and the government order. So it's, again, a natural response, a logical response. It makes sense that you don't want an uprising. Because if the disciples really did steal the body, there might be an uprising. There might be a coup. There might be this mutiny against the government. These are all good points. These are all good arguments. It makes sense that what they're doing here is not just about their uncertainty. They're actually trying to protect their government from uprising and a movement and things like that. But here's another angle to look at it. Sometimes when you're uncertain about something, and it sounds so ridiculous, that you force it to be not true. All of us do that. We hear these stories and it sounds so ridiculous. We're like, there's no way that's true. And even though we're uncertain, what wins out our will and our mind and the logic is that it's so ridiculous that it has to be untrue. There's no research. There's no evidence. There was no kind of follow-up with stories or conversations. So we force it to be untrue. Now, I agree, there are ridiculous things that there really is no uncertainty, but you force it to be untrue because it's just so ridiculous. If someone said they could transform into an elephant, it's just so ridiculous that it's untrue. The uncertainty is not there. Even if there was a hint of uncertainty, that's so ridiculous it's not true. Some of you guys are thinking, it's so ridiculous for someone to come back from the dead. It is not true. But there are ridiculous things that happen today. Some of you have maybe heard this. We hear this often, where doctors say this person should have died. We hear this all the time in the medical field. This person should have been dead. I have no idea how this person is alive. I have no idea how this person survived this crash, this injury, this cancer. This person used to have cancer and now it's gone. Ridiculous. So ridiculous. And I'm not going to go down this angle and say like, see, Jesus is real, he does miracles. No, I don't want to talk about that. That's another video, that's another story. But I want to say, what I want to point out is that just because it's ridiculous doesn't force it to be untrue. We hear ridiculous, crazy things all the time in the medical field. I remember reading a story about these two kids. They were buried alive. They were persecuted for their faith. They were literally buried alive. And people dug them up like hours later. They should have been dead, and they were perfectly fine. And these two kids said that while they were buried alive, there was a man, they couldn't see his face. They said it's just a radiant light that came to them while they were buried alive and gave them water and gave them air so that they could stay alive. Now, that sounds so ridiculous, right? And now all of you are kind of thinking like, whatever, prove it to me. Who are these kids? Where's the story? Where's the article? You got me. I don't have the article. And now you're saying like, oh, you probably just made it up. Well, please believe me, I didn't just make up that story. But this is not just one story. There's many stories like this, where people should have been dead, and yet they are alive. Ridiculous. How does this happen? And I want to try to implore you, for those of you who are watching this, if there's a hint of uncertainty that Jesus, this gospel, this Christianity thing might be real, I beg you please do research. I beg you please to go talk to people. I beg you please to come out to a church service this weekend and give this sermon a chance. Give kind of the service a chance. Give that church a chance. Give your Christian friends a chance and talk to them. please, 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 I'm on your side. I'm not saying just to go to one service and believe. I'm not forcing belief on you. I'm not even saying read the Bible from the beginning to the end and it's guaranteed you'll know Jesus. No, I'm just simply asking you, would you pursue this journey? Would you pursue Christ in a way just to try to know if this is real? Because I think there's a lot of you out there, you're uncertain. You're uncertain. Could this be real? But your friend says it's ridiculous, your boss says it's ridiculous, your boyfriend, girlfriend, or wife or husband says it's ridiculous. Just the concept alone is so ridiculous because you think about science and all these things, so you force it to be untrue. But I'm just asking you, if you're just a little bit uncertain, research. Talk to some people. Find out some answers to your questions, and maybe you'll find some clarity. Maybe you'll find some truth. And I hope that you'll find Jesus. You know, I'm going to steal this from Pastor Rick. I heard a sermon yesterday during our Good Friday service. This is Pastor Rick's. I'm going to steal it from him. But I want to let you know that the cross, that the gospel, the power of the cross resurrection, this is not about do. It's not about you doing, but it's about being done. It's not about do, it's about done. You cannot earn your way into goodness. You can't earn your way into the forgiveness of sins. You can't do anything to get into heaven. You know why? Because it's been done for you. Jesus substituted himself for you. He took the punishment for you. The gospel is that Jesus freely gave you his life so that you can believe in him, so that you can believe that he took the punishment for you, so that you can believe that only he can take that punishment for you. It is done. The work is finished. The gospel is about done. It's not about do. So I hope that you could go out to an Easter service this weekend. Hopefully you go to a church maybe another weekend. And I hope you could kind of seek some more answers if you're uncertain about this done, this thing about being done, the gospel being done. And I hope that you will find some clarity. To all my friends, to all my pastor friends, all my church leader friends, anyone who serves in the church, get ready for this weekend. If you don't have Saturday services, get ready for tomorrow. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready to capture these people who have questions. I hope you're ready to follow up with people who are coming out to your services. And my tip for today, I'm trying to share some helpful ideas. This is a place where you get some free training here. Follow up. Follow up with people. Have them fill out a card. Have them fill out something. Follow up. And follow up with something nice. Don't send them some 5-page essay about the doctrine of Christ. Okay, follow up with a simple newsletter. Follow up with something that looks good. Find a graphic designer and make a nice, cool email newsletter. Use some color. You know, do the graphic thing. I'm not a graphic designer, so I don't know, but get someone who knows how to use Illustrator and Photoshop and follow up. Follow up with these people. Don't let them just come to your church and pick up a little free cup and they leave. Make sure when they leave, they're going to get another contact from you. Don't spam them, all right? And for those of you watching right now, don't be afraid, okay? My church, we don't spam you. Follow up. Give them a phone call. Email them. Let them know that we remember you, that you remember them. And follow up. Follow up with something. With events, maybe a small group, maybe it's just another barbecue, maybe a new visitors type of free dinner. I don't know. Your church is your church. I don't know what you got going on. But there's the idea. Make sure you follow up with visitors. How dare we say come to our church and they actually come and we don't really communicate with them or say anything after they leave. How dare we do that? Improve that system at your church. And I hope that at all your churches, and I hope you yourself, you're a Christian, build that church family community and build relationships.